6 most dangerous villages in the world. You won't believe they actually exist. If you had to choose a place to live, where would you choose? A crowded city, a peaceful countryside, or a place with pristine nature and a slow-paced way of life? But just imagine for a moment, what if your hometown were located right on the edge of a volcano in a frozen landscape so cold that everything turns to ice, or on the side of a sheer cliff? It may sound hard to believe, but places like these really do exist. On this vast planet, there are villages located in places where most of us would only dare to visit for a few days. Yet for the local people, these are the places where they were born, grew up, and have spent their entire lives. Every morning when they wake up, they face challenges that we might consider an adventure: volcanoes, freezing temperatures, heavy rain, landslides, or treacherous cliffs. So what is life really like in these places? How do the people who live there survive and adapt to such harsh natural conditions? And are these villages really as dangerous as we might imagine? Hello and welcome to the Discovery Fact Channel. In today's video, join us as we embark on a special journey to explore the 6 most dangerous villages in the world. From volcanic islands in the middle of the ocean to some of the coldest places on Earth, each destination will reveal a completely different story. And trust me, there will be some villages that will leave you absolutely stunned. You won't believe your eyes. Now, let's get started. Aogashima, the dangerous village nestled inside a volcano that could awaken at any moment. A village surrounded by sheer cliffs, with the vast ocean stretching in every direction and an active volcano lying right beneath its feet. It sounds like the setting of a survival movie, doesn't it? But unfortunately, this is a very real place. This is Aogashima, one of the strangest and most dangerous villages in Japan. Located in the Philippine Sea, more than 217 miles south of Tokyo, Aogashima is part of the Izu Islands. From above, the island looks like a massive natural fortress rising from the middle of the ocean. Cliffs ranging from 2,130 to 4,265 feet high surround the entire area, making it extremely difficult to get in or out. But you know what? The most frightening thing is actually right in the center of the island. Aogashima is, in fact, a gigantic volcanic crater, and inside that crater sits another, smaller volcano. In other words, the people who live here are residing in the middle of a unique volcanic formation, where the earth beneath their feet is still quietly simmering with activity. The island is just over 1.5 miles wide, about 2.1 miles long, and its highest point reaches 1,388 feet. According to geologists, Aogashima was formed from the remains of 4 underwater volcanoes. The towering cliffs surrounding the island are remnants of layers of volcanic deposits that formed over a very long period of time. And the history of this place once had a truly horrifying chapter. In 1781, a violent volcanic eruption occurred, killing approximately 170 people out of the island's total population of 327. After the disaster, Aogashima was classified as an active volcano by the Japan Meteorological Agency. Yet, what is difficult to believe is that about 50 years later, the people who once lived here returned despite the danger, determined to rebuild their lives on the very land that had taken the lives of their fellow islanders. To this day, around 205 residents still live on Aogashima. They fish, farm, and maintain small local services for visitors. Daily life continues much like it does in any other rural community. People go to work, children grow up, and houses nestle quietly between the towering cliffs. But the moment you look down at the ground beneath your feet, you realize that everything here has been built on top of a volcano that has never completely gone to sleep. In fact, the heat rising from deep within the earth is even used by the local residents in their everyday lives. When you visit Aogashima, you can experience a sauna that uses natural geothermal gases from the volcano. Potatoes and eggs steamed with hot vapor rising from deep underground have also become local specialties. It sounds fascinating, but just think about it. Would you dare to eat an egg steamed by the heat of the very volcano sitting beneath your feet? Today, Aogashima remains a small village tucked away within towering cliffs. The fresh air, untouched scenery, and nearly pristine hiking trails make this place almost unbelievably beautiful. But behind that peaceful appearance, there is always a danger that no one can afford to take lightly. If one day this volcano truly awakens again, will Aogashima be able to survive the disaster just as its people did in the past? And what about you? If you were in their shoes, would you have the courage to live in a place like Aogashima? Let us know what you think in the comments below. La Rinconada, the town of death at the top of the world, where people live on the edge of survival. Can you imagine a place on Earth where simply breathing is already a battle against your own body? There are no modern hospitals, no clean water, and no waste management system, yet tens of thousands of people continue to cling to life in a freezing mountainous region where the air is so thin that every breath becomes a struggle. This is La Rinconada, a town known as the Devil's Paradise, and also the highest permanent human settlement on Earth. Perched high in the Peruvian Andes, La Rinconada sits at an elevation ranging from approximately 16,076 to 17,060 feet above sea level. With around 50,000 residents living here, it is higher than other well-known high-altitude settlements such as Wenquan in China and Korzok in India. But living at such a terrifying altitude is no joke. The air here contains only about half as much oxygen as it does at sea level. For people who have just arrived, the body almost immediately begins to react. The heart beats faster, breathing becomes rapid and labored, and dizziness can set in. If you are not accustomed to high altitudes, you may face acute mountain sickness, which can cause headaches, fatigue, nausea, and even a loss of appetite. Even more frighteningly, the human body cannot always adapt to this environment. La Rinconada originally began as a temporary gold mining settlement more than 60 years ago. It wasn't until 2000 that electricity was installed, while running water, sewage systems, and waste management remain almost non-existent. Food has to be transported from lower altitude regions. And yet, driven by the need to make a living and the dream of changing their lives through gold, tens of thousands of people still choose to live in this place, often described as a paradise in the sky, or a hell on Earth. After about 1 to 2 weeks, the human body begins to adapt by increasing the production of red blood cells and hemoglobin, allowing oxygen to be transported more efficiently. People from the Andes may also develop larger lung volumes when exposed to high altitudes from an early age. But the paradox is that this very survival mechanism can eventually become a threat. It is estimated that roughly 1 in 4 people in La Rinconada suffers from chronic mountain sickness, or CMS. The condition occurs when the body produces too many red blood cells, causing the blood to become thicker and potentially leading to fatigue, shortness of breath, and persistent aches and pains. The best solution is to leave this dangerous altitude and move to a lower elevation. But for people who make their living mining for gold, that is almost impossible. And so they stay, day after day, breathing the thin air high in the Andes while digging deep into the earth in search of gold, all while their own bodies are silently paying the price. Now just imagine this. If you set foot in La Rinconada, do you think you could survive for 1 week in this place known as the Devil's Paradise? Or would you give up after just a few days and start searching for a way back down the mountain? As for me, I'll give you my answer right now. Absolutely not, folks. Korowai! The tribe living in sky-high tree houses deep in the jungle where even the ground hides danger. Would you dare to live in a house perched high among the treetops, dozens of feet above the ground, surrounded by nothing but dense jungle and the mysterious sounds of nature? Well, for many people, that would probably sound like a nightmare. But for the Korowai, this was once simply a part of everyday life. Living deep in the remote tropical forests of southern Papua, Indonesia, the Korowai people have long fascinated the world with their tree houses. But don't be too quick to imagine this place as a giant village in the trees straight out of a mysterious story. In reality, traditional settlements usually consisted of only a small number of tree houses built near areas used for farming scattered throughout a vast and isolated forest. But you know what? These houses weren't built high above the ground simply to create a unique place to live. Behind their astonishing height lies an entire survival strategy that the Korowai have adapted to over generations. The houses are typically built about 26 to 39 feet above the ground. Some exceptional structures can be much higher. In fact, Guinness World Records has documented Korowai tree houses reaching nearly 100 feet in height. Living at such a height means that every day they have to climb up and down the trees. One single slip could turn an ordinary task into a serious accident. And in the middle of a remote jungle, rescue would be almost unimaginable. Just think about how dangerous this place must be. And what about you? Would you dare to live somewhere like this? I'm sure the answer is no, right? But for the Korowai, things are different. They believe that living high above the ground helps protect them from many dangers below, including insects, animals, and other risks found in the wet and challenging jungle environment. These tree houses also suit their isolated way of life, where people have to rely heavily on nature in order to survive. Today, not all Korowai people still live in tree houses. Many have moved down to villages on the ground, but in some remote areas deep within the forest, traditional tree houses are still being built and used. To us, a house standing dozens of feet above the ground in the middle of an ancient jungle might seem like such a dangerous place that no one would ever want to set foot there. But for the Korowai, it was once a shelter, a home, and a way to survive in the middle of a wild and untamed world, folks. Oymyakin, the village swallowed by ice, where even your breath can turn to ice. What would you think if I told you there is a place where simply stepping outside can cause your tears to freeze, your eyelashes to become covered in frost, and even the phone in your hand can suddenly shut down because of the extreme cold? Sounds like a land straight out of a science fiction movie, doesn't it? But as strange as it may sound, this place actually exists in real life. It is Oymyakon, a small village deep in Siberia, Russia, where people are actually living in one of the harshest environments on Earth. With a population of only around 500 people, Oymyakon is known as the coldest permanently inhabited place on Earth. In 1924, temperatures here reportedly plunged to a terrifying minus 96.2 degrees Fahrenheit, while typical winter temperatures can still drop to around minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Located more than 932 miles from the city of Yakutsk, the village lies deep within a remote valley, making it almost completely isolated whenever winter arrives. To reach Oymyakon, you may have to drive for 2 full days along roads covered in thick layers of snow. But getting there isn't even the most frightening part. When temperatures drop to extreme levels, even cars have to fight to survive. Engines require constant maintenance, vehicles may need to keep moving to retain heat, and people even have to find ways to keep their engines warm to prevent them from stalling in the frozen wilderness. But what about the people? Going outside in Oymyakon means covering almost every part of your body. Residents often wear fur hats that completely cover their heads and ears because moisture from their breath can quickly freeze onto any exposed skin. In such extreme conditions, students' pen ink can freeze. Eyeglasses can stick to the skin, while cameras and cell phones can easily stop working because of the cold. The temperatures can become so extreme that even strong alcoholic drinks, which are normally very difficult to freeze, can eventually turn into blocks of ice here. And yet, strangely enough, the people of Oymyakon continue to live, study, and work almost as normally as anyone else. The village still has a school, a post office, a bank, and even an airport. Their food also reflects the harsh environment of this frozen land, including raw horse meat, reindeer meat, frozen fish, and stroganina, a traditional dish made from thinly sliced raw fish often prepared from sturgeon or Arctic cisco. And if you're brave enough to visit this place, you can even explore icy tunnels and receive a certificate called Keeper of the Cold as a unique souvenir of your experience. Oymyakon may be a destination that sparks the curiosity of many people, but just think about this. If you had to stand outside in temperatures of minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit, how long do you think you could last? 1 minute? 10 minutes? Or would just a few seconds be enough to send you running straight back inside? Because in this place, the cold isn't simply a matter of weather. It is a true test of survival, where even one small mistake could come at a very high price. Mawzenram, the village that endures some of the most terrifying rainfall on Earth. Imagine stepping outside your home one day only to find that the familiar road has turned into a raging torrent. Torrential rain pours relentlessly onto the rooftops. Landslides can happen at any moment, and electricity and transportation routes are frequently cut off. You can't go to school, you can't go to work. You may not even dare to step outside because a single heavy downpour can leave the entire village isolated. Well, this isn't a scene from a disaster movie. This is the reality that more than 4,000 people in Mawzenram, a village in the state of Meghalaya in northeastern India, have faced for generations. This place is known as one of the wettest regions on Earth. You know what? Guinness World Records has recorded Mawzenram's average annual rainfall at around 467.4 inches. But what's truly frightening is that the rain isn't just persistent, it can sometimes fall with terrifying intensity. In June 2022, the area received approximately 39.5 inches of rain in just one day. Then, in June 2025, another single day saw around 39.5 inches of rainfall. To put that into perspective, in just 24 hours, the amount of water falling here can equal or even exceed the total rainfall that many parts of the world receive over a much longer period of time. So why does Mawzenram receive such an incredible amount of rain? The answer lies in its location. The village sits on the Shillong Plateau, at an elevation of around 4,593 feet above sea level. This unique location effectively turns Mawzenram into a natural wall that blocks moist monsoon winds blowing in from the Bay of Bengal. From June through September, the southwest monsoon carries enormous amounts of moisture into the region. The terrain then forces that moisture upward, causing it to fall as intense and relentless rainfall. For the people who live here, the rainy season isn't simply a few days of bad weather. It is a period when almost every aspect of daily life can be turned upside down. Landslides occur frequently. Roads leading into the village can be cut off. Power outages happen repeatedly, and even the supply of clean water can be threatened by contamination. The rain can become so loud that people have to speak louder than usual just to hear each other. Children have to stay home from school. Adults stop traveling outside, and many families can do nothing but sit indoors and wait for the skies to finally stop pouring. But when you live in a place like this, you have no choice but to find ways to adapt. Every year, residents spend the dry winter months preparing for the rainy season. They reinforce their roofs, stockpile firewood, food, and other essential supplies so they can endure the harsh months ahead. When the rain begins to pour, they use special umbrellas called nups. These unique umbrellas are woven from bamboo and dried grass, shaped somewhat like a turtle shell, and can protect almost the entire body from the head down to the knees. The people here have even learned how to turn nature itself into a tool for survival. Tree roots are carefully trained and woven together over time to create living root bridges that span rivers and streams. As the trees continue to grow, their roots become more deeply anchored in the soil, making the bridges stronger and more stable against powerful floodwaters. On days when the rain is too heavy to go outside, residents take the opportunity to make brooms from dried grass, weave bamboo baskets, and create other household items to earn additional income. A local dish called tongue tap, made from chilies, tomatoes, and fermented fish, has also become a familiar part of everyday life here. And yet, despite all these hardships, Mawzenram has not been completely defeated by nature. Every year, around 10,000 visitors still make their way here, especially during the rainy season, to witness the spectacular power of nature and the enormous waterfalls, including the famous Nokkalakai Falls. Perhaps to many people, Mawzenram would be far too harsh a place to call home. But for the people who were born and raised here, the powerful rains are an inseparable part of their homeland. They don't run away from the rain. They have learned to wait for it, adapt to it, and live alongside it. They truly are incredibly brave people, aren't they, folks? Candovan, the village perched on a mountainside where people live inside giant stone beehives. There is a village that, when you look at it from a distance, might make you think you're standing in front of a city built by giants. Hundreds of cone-shaped rock formations stand closely together along the mountainside, connected by precarious stairways on slopes reaching angles of up to 70 degrees. One wrong step could cause you to lose your balance on this treacherous terrain. But what's even more astonishing is that inside these seemingly uninhabitable rock formations are homes where people have lived for hundreds of years. This is Kandovan, a remarkable village located in the northwestern part of East Azerbaijan province, Iran. This land has been inhabited by humans for thousands of years and was once home to the Medes, Achaemenids, Parthians, and Sassanids. However, the present-day village of Kandovan is believed to have been established around 700 years ago when people sought refuge during the Mongol invasion of Iran. Instead of building houses out of brick or wood, they chose to live directly inside the volcanic rock formations. The unique cone-shaped rock formations here are known as Karan. Using hammers, chisels, and pickaxes, the residents patiently carved through layers of volcanic ash and rock to create living spaces. The work could take years because digging in the wrong place could potentially cause the entire rock structure to collapse. Each Karan can stand about 131 feet tall and contain between 2 and 4 levels. The lowest level is used for livestock. The second level serves as the kitchen. The next level is used for receiving guests, while the highest and narrowest section is used for storing food to protect it from moisture. What's particularly fascinating is that there are almost no staircases connecting the different levels inside the homes. To move between levels, residents have to use stone or wooden steps built outside, clinging to the steep mountainside. And yet, this seemingly dangerous terrain actually provides an incredible advantage. The stone homes stay cool during the summer and retain heat well in the winter, helping residents cope with the cold climate without requiring a great deal of energy. Inside the homes, Persian carpets, colorful cushions, wood-burning stoves, and small glass windows create a space that is both rustic and cozy. Windows carved directly into the rock allow natural light and fresh air to enter the homes. Kandovan is not only known for its unusual architecture. The village also has natural hot springs with low mineral content, which locals believe provide health benefits. Today, despite its rugged and challenging terrain, Kandovan remains a lively village. The residents work in agriculture, livestock farming, and handicrafts. The village still has shops, a school, public bathhouses, factories, workspaces, and even a church built directly into a massive rock formation. Some cairns have even been converted into hotels and guest houses, giving visitors the opportunity to experience life inside these one-of-a-kind stone homes. But just imagine this. If you had to live surrounded by towering cliffs, climb precarious stairways every day, and sleep inside a home carved deep into solid rock, would you dare to stay here? As for me, I definitely would because I really enjoy experiencing new and unfamiliar things, folks. As you can see, the world is truly an amazing place, isn't it? 6 villages, 6 places that seem almost impossible for human life to exist. And yet, people continue to live there every single day, holding on and calling these extraordinary places home. Perhaps humans cannot always overcome the power of nature, but through resilience and the ability to adapt, they have found ways to survive. If it were up to you, which of these 7 villages would you choose to live in? Let us know your answer in the comments below. And don't forget to support the channel by subscribing and turning on the notification bell so you can join us as we continue exploring more mysterious places around the world. And now, it's time for me to say goodbye. See you in the next adventure.